Hey there, Unreal enthusiasts and creative minds. In today's exciting episode, we're diving deeper into the magic of animation within Unreal Engine 5. Building on the skills we honed in our previous tutorial, where we mastered retargeting animations from the Animation Starter Pack, we are now setting our sights on Mixamo. For those who missed the first part, fear not. You will find a link right in the description below, guiding you through the seamless integrations of animations from the Animation Starter Pack into your Unreal Engine 5 projects. We'll navigate the thrilling process of importing a Mixamo animation and retargeting it to work with Unreal Engine 5's powerful framework. Whether you're looking to add some flair to your characters of movement or aiming to bring your digital creation to life with realistic animations, you're in the right place. But before we dive in, here's an exclusive invitation just for you. By subscribing to Woodland.com, not only will you secure your front row seat to the cutting edge of Unreal Engine 5 learning, but you also unlock special discounts on our comprehensive courses. And speaking of courses, don't miss our latest blockbuster, Modeling with Unreal Engine 5, no Maya or Blender needed. It is time to unleash your creativity like never before, all within the confines of Unreal Engine 5. If you are enjoying our journey through the vast possibilities of Unreal Engine 5, why not take a moment to like this video? It's a small gesture that means the world to us. Plus, subscribing to our channel and ringing the bell ensures you won't miss out on any of our future tutorials, tips, and insider secrets to mastering Unreal Engine 5. Let's get started. For this project, I am going to start in what we left the first tutorial related to retargeting. And in this case, I am going first to visit Mixamo, which is this webpage. If you haven't visited before, it is basically mixamo.com. And here you can sign up for free. In my case, I'm going to make login. And once you are logged in, the first thing you're going to see is a group of characters here and a group of animations related to these characters, to these skeletons. You will see that the skeletons or the structure of the skeleton that we use on Mixamo is different to the ones that we use for the previous tutorial. Again, if you haven't seen the previous tutorial, you can check the link on this one on the description. But is not related to the previous one in terms of you can use this tutorial of Mixamo and continue from that point on. Now, the first thing I'm going to do on Mixamo is to identify what characters I want to download. In this case, I want to, as you can see, you can use any of these characters, but I want to take a base character, and this case is the Y-bot. You have two characters important to mention here, and one is the Y-bot, which is a male character, and you have the X-bot, which is another character, which is the female character. And this is interesting to see them in different perspectives because depending on the character, probably the movement that you want to create is different. In my case, I want to use the Y-bot. So this is the first part. We set what is the character that we want. Then the second part is making a download. In our case, I'm going to select the FBX binary, FBX, and the T-pose, which is perfect to make a retargeting. So let's go and select download. Once the files is downloaded, we can add it to our project. So I'm going to put my project here for a second, select the downloads, and today I'm going to select this Y-bot. First of all, I'm going to create a folder because just as we did for the Anim Starter Pack, I wish to create one folder, but in this case for Mixamo. So first of all, new folder, Mixamo. And inside this folder, I am going to add the Y-bot. In my case at this moment, I don't want to select any skeleton because this file comes with their own skeleton. So I'm going to select import. And don't mind about this message, about this warning. It is nothing really important for us. And here we have the basic files that are related to the FBX that we just imported. To keep the standards nominations or denominations for different components, I'm going to rename this. First, the skeletal mesh is going to be called, let me select here and rename SKM and I can call it YBot, which is a skeletal mesh. For the skeleton, I'm going to select as well, rename, and it's going to be called SK. And I will select here YBot. Fantastic. The others are a couple of materials. If you wish, you can even create your own folder. And inside these folders, you can add these two material components. And there it is. Let's save all. Now let's get a couple of animations from Mixamo. And here in Mixamo, instead of selecting characters, I am going to select animations. I'm going to select an animation for walk and look for it. And as you can see, you have different styles of walking. And this is where I mentioned the differentiations between one sex and the other. In my case, I can select this walking, but in this case, it's about a female character moving. I can pick right now in place, so the animation does not move, and I can turn around. And this is a female animation. But if I select a male animation, here you can see the difference. Let me put it, and this is a male animation of walking. I want this animation. Let's select download. And now I am going to make another selections of another settings before making the download. The format FBX is perfect, keyframe reduction known, frame per seconds 30. Now the skins, I don't need the skin for this character because we're going to use the skin that we already have with the skeletal mesh that we downloaded a moment ago. So I'm going to select without skin and then download. Now I'm going to select another one, but for running. So I select run, and here you have several animations for running with different styles. And you can select any of them, and you can see what are the properties of the particular animation. In my case, I want a very simple animation like this one, a very well-known running. This is a male character running. And again, I will select download. And as we did a moment ago, we don't want the skin. So without skin, FBX 30 and keyframe none, download. Right now we have two animations, but of course you can select any other animation in the future. And I have to tell you, visit Mixamo and discover all the animations that you have here is an excellent exercise because you never know when you can use one of these animations for your game. But for the moment, I'm going to stop using Mixamo. So let's go back to our project and import these specific animations. First of all, I will create a new folder for the animations, and I will call it Animations. Now that I have this folder, I can bring my animations. Let's do another way. Let's bring the animations using another method. We can select here Add, and then import to the project corresponding. And here I will go to Downloads. And in Downloads, these are the two animations that I have. Let's select the first one, and with Shift, I'm going to select as well the second one, which is the running and the walking. I have another running and walking previously. This is why it is called like 1 and 1. In fact, I'm going to take these two because they are the same. And now I will select Open. Difference to what we did a moment ago, in this case, for these animations, we want a skeleton. And the skeleton we're going to use is the one that we created a moment ago. So we can call it YBot, and here is the skeleton that we call SKYBot. Select and import all. Here are both of our animations. In fact, you can click in one of them, and here you have one of the animations. Click F to rotate around. Close. And now walking here as well. F to rotate around. Fantastic. We have our two animations. For the previous tutorial related to retargeting, we used this character. But this character is not perfect for what we're trying to do because it has a component here. You can see it, but it has a component here that I cannot hide. And at this moment, I wish to hide not just the weapon, but all these components, leaving just the hands. So I'm going to take another character related to Paragon. So let's look for Paragon, enter. And here you have, well, a great variety of different characters. So let me try and find some male character that I could use. It doesn't matter if the character has a weapon. I like this one. I'm playing a lot with this character, and let me use it for this example. So I will add it to the project. My project is called Retargeting. Here it is. Add to project, and let's wait for this asset to be downloaded. Going back to my project, here I have my new character, which is called Twin Blast. Let's go to the details, and here in the meshes, we can check the skeletal mesh, double click, and you can see that Twin Blast is a lot more clear than the other character, if you ask me, but it still have a weapon, and I want to hide this weapon because I want to work just with these hands and decide if in the future I wish to add another weapon. So as you can see to the left, there is a material for different sections of this mesh. But in particular, you have a section that it should be related to the weapon, which is this one, the pistol. If you want to confirm that, you can click here to isolate, and there it is. So what I want is to hide the material for this one or make it transparent. How can I do that? Well, I will go to my project and create a new folder that I'm going to call materials. In materials, I will create a new material, of course. Material. Let me call this one M transparent. Double click to open the material, and here on the blend mode I will select translucent. Then keeping the one key down and clicking, I will select I am adding constant value that by default it is 0. I'm going to pin this one from here to the opacity, and now we have a material that is transparent. Let's apply, save, and close. Now that we have our material here, I can click over it, go to the Twin Blast, and select for the pistol that particular material. I can click here, and now you can see that the weapon disappeared. In fact, it didn't disappear. It's just it is not rendered. The material is transparent. Now I'm going to save and close. The next part is create the IK rigs that we are going to retarget. So the first part is inside our new, let me check where do we put Mixamo. Fantastic, here is Mixamo. I'm going to create a folder called rigs. Now right click, animation, retargeting, and select IK rig. In this case, I'm going to call this IK Mixamo. Double click the IK. Let me put it here. And the previous skeletal mesh, well, what do you think is going to be? Well, the skeletal mesh associated with the Mixamo, which is this one here. So let's go here, and you can look for it like Y bot, and here you have the skeletal mesh. Perfect. And it is on a T position. This is the first one we need to have. Now, the structure of this IK rig is totally different to the ones that we checked on the previous tutorial. So we're going to make some adjustments. The first thing I'm going to do is to be able to see the bones of this Mixamo. And to do it, I'm going to select character, bones, and all hierarchy. And here you can see the entire bone structure. The next part is that I need to identify what are going to be the names that I will use for this IK. And as we did in the previous tutorial, we can go in the third-person shooters on this model of project of third person. You can go to the blueprints, open your blueprints, look for the skeletal mesh. And here in the skeletal mesh, in fact, it's not exactly on the mesh, but in this folder called rigs, you can see a file called the IK mannequin. This is the one that you're going to use as a reference. And as you can see here, we have all the different components that we need to define for our own IK Mixamo. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to select to close the previous one, and I wish to follow this entire structure. This is just a reference for you in case that you don't remember what will be the corresponding names for all these elements. So you just have to have them in mind. So let's go to Mixamo. And in Mixamo, we are going to identify some differentiations. And the first thing is that in the IK mannequin, you have a root component, and then you have the retarget root for the pelvis. In our case, for Mixamo, they are the same thing. So the first part is select the hips, and I'm going to say set retarget root, and then I'm going to do it again and select new retarget chain, and in this case, we're going to call it root and add chain. So we have the first one. Now we're going to continue with the rest of the skeleton. In the IK mannequin, the rest, which are the spines, are usually called the spine. So I will select from spine 1 to spine 2. I think it's 2. I can read it. Spine 2, correct? And right click, new retarget chain, and we'll call it spine. Now we have the spine. Perfect. Now let's go to the head. The head will include from the neck to the head. Right click again, new retarget chain, and the name will be head. Now let's continue with the rest of this character. The first part are the clavicles. Now, the clavicles are a bit different. As you can see here, we have them as shoulder. So I'm going to select this one, create new retarget, and instead of left arm, it's going to be called left clavicle, a chain. Remember, if you don't remind the names here, you have them as a reference. Let's do the same for the right shoulder to be ordered. So this one will be right clavicle. Now let's go to the left shoulder again and continue with the arm. So the arm will start with left arm and we'll finish with left hand, which is here. New retarget chain, and this one will be called left arm. Perfect. Let's do the same with the other side. Right arm to right hand, new retarget chain, add chain. Here we have it. Okay, now let's go with the fingers. You will notice something very important here, and this took me some time to realize the problem. You have for every finger, you have 4 different bones. And here in this character, it is totally different because we have just 3 for every finger. And that, believe me, create me a lot of problems because if I selected the entire structure from this to this, then something weird happens in the process of retargeting the fingers. So what you have to do, and this is a very important trick, is to go from the thumb 1 to the thumb 3. So don't go until the end. Just leave it the first 3. And new retarget chain, and in this case, it's going to be left thumb. Add chain. Index, again, the 3 first, and left index. Repeat the process. Left middle. Left ring, add chain, and finally left pinky. Excellent. Now let's go to the other hand. We'll start with the right hand, 1, 2, 3. New retarget, right thumb, add chain, index 1, 2, 3, right index, middle, 1, 2, 3, right, middle, ring, 1, 2, 3, right, ring, and finally the pinky. Pinky, and add chain. With this, we finish the first part or the top part of the character. Now let's go to the legs. The legs will start, they are very straightforward. We're going to start from the left up leg until the left toe end. New retarget chain, and we're going to call this one left leg. I don't have to change anything. And the right as well. We got from the beginning right up leg until right toe end. New retarget chain and right leg. And that's it. We have the retarget. Let me check if I miss anything. No, the head, the spine. Perfect. We have everything. Let me save my IK. And now let's repeat the process for the new character that we created. In this case, it was the Paragon Twin Blast. So let me open characters, heroes, Twin Blast, and here I'm going to create a folder also called rigs. Inside rigs, I will select the animation, retargeting, and IK rig. I'm going to call this one IK, and the name of this character, in this case, Twin Blast. Double click. And what is the skeletal mesh I'm going to use? Well, the corresponding to Twin Blast. And to Twin Blast, it will be, let me go here. I guess it will be inside meshes. Here it is, Twin Blast. And it's the one where we hide the weapon, as you remember. Okay, so let's go. Let me select this one, Twin Blast, IK Twin Blast, and select here. And here it is our character, our Twin Blast. So very good. Now let's start creating the new elements for the IK and the future retargeting. In this case, this process is more straightforward. The first one is set the root as root. So I'm going to select new retarget chain, and it's going to be called root as it is here. And now I'm going to select the pelvis and select set retarget root. And then this is the structure that we need that was originally in the mannequin. Okay, so we have the root and we have the pelvis with the retarget root. Perfect. Now let's continue with the rest of this structure. So the first is going to be the spine, which will go from 1, 2, 3, new retarget chain, and it's called spine. No problem about that. Left clavicle, new retarget chain, and it's going to be called clavicle. Excellent. We have the left clavicle. Let's go to the right clavicle right away. Right clavicle. Excellent. And now let's go to the arms. So we'll start with the upper arm until the left hand. Now, as you can see here, we have a new another element in the middle. So what I can do is select the upper arm, go just the upper arm, select new retarget chain, say that this is the left arm, and then here on the left arm, I would say that I want to finish in hand L. So let's go here, select hand L, and now we have the structure as I want it. So good, this is the left. Let's go to the right one. So in the right one, we have from the upper arm to, look at this, we have a grenade. We have a lot of components that I don't want. I want just go from here to the lower arm to the hand. So the same thing will apply here, new retarget chain, right arm. And once I have it here, I can select the hand R. And this is the structure that we want. Let's continue with the left side of the left arm. Now we have the indexes. And as you can see here, we have three elements of bones. This is perfect. So select the first one, shift and click the last one, new retarget chain, And this is left index, perfect. This is going to make the process a lot faster. Left middle, pinky, left pinky, ring, left ring, thumb. There you go. And the weapon, of course, I don't need that information. Let's close the upper arm left, in fact, from the clavicle, and now let's go to the right. Starting with the index. Now the middle, the pinky, the ring, the thumb. Excellent. Let me close the clavicle. For the head, we're going to select from neck 01 to head. New retarget chain, and we're going to call this one not neck, but head. Now let's go for the feet. We're going to start with the thigh L until the ball L. So let's select here. In fact, as you can see, there is a component that is in the middle. I don't want to select this one. So new retarget chain, left leg. Let me get in here. And the last one will be the ball L. The same we're going to repeat for the thigh, right. New retarget chain is going to be called right leg. This is not the name that we want. And it's going to finish in the ball R. Fantastic. Let's save. And now we have the inverse kinematic for the twin blast. Now I'm going to create the retargeted. So we're going to the Mixamo, rigs. And as we did it before for the UK, if you remember here, we have the retargeted for Murdoch. Here on Mixamo, I'm going to get these rigs and go to the animation, retargeting, and IK retargeter, RTJ, and I'm going to name it with the name of the character that we are retargeting, which is in this case, Twin Blast. This is a bit of having a standard. And as we are in the folder of Mixamo, and we're going to retarget to the Twin Blast, this is why I use these standards. So I'm going to open this, and the IK source for this one is going to be, of course, the one that we created for a Mixamo, which is this one. So we can go for IK Mixamo here. Excellent. And the target is going to be the IK Twin Blast. Select here, IK Twin Blast. Excellent. As you can see, we have one over the other. I wish to move them to one side, the target, and I can use this mesh offset. So let me move it, I would say 200. Good. And now we have these two, one besides the other. To start editing the pose, the first thing I usually do is to create a new pose. I don't want to miss the original. So let me create a new one, create a new, and I'm going to call this one retarget pose for this character, which is Twin Blast. Okay. The other part is to click on this hamburger and select Edit Retarget Pose. Now I can add, I'm going to go to the target. I can get close and select one particular element and start moving it as I wish. I'm going to select snapping to 10 degrees. And now let's move this one. I would say something like 50 degrees is going to work. And this one, let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now we're talking. They look similar at this moment. We're going to start playing with these values and see if they are working as we intended to. The other thing, I'm going to select this mesh and the bones, going to reduce them as much as possible say something like this could work. Excellent. And then we're going to make some other comparisons. The other thing is as you can see, the legs are totally different. So let's go ahead and move the legs as well. In this case, I would say that the legs probably are going to need 5 degrees or something like that. So let me go here. Now we're talking about this one. 5 degrees probably is too much, but we'll see. And the other, which is this one, 5 degrees as well. And now I will go to the target again. Let me go out. Let me put this one over the other and see how these two characters are looking. So they're looking very good, very similar. We can see some small difference between the two arms. And this is about you getting to the right point that you want your character as perfect as possible. And this is what I'm doing at this moment. Yeah, this looks very good. And if you want to test your characters, you can always run one of these animations and see what happens. In particular, in these characters, the other thing that you can see is the position of the arms here. As you can check, if we go from the top, they are totally different. So let's try to play with them as well. You have to play a bit with your camera. So I'm going to take first this, I think is this bone that I want. And let's play with the 5 degrees as well. So let's move it 1, 2. Let's see how much we can move it. I think here could be, which are 25 degrees. Sounds good. Let's go to this side as well. And let's move it 25 degrees. This is looking much better. Remember that the proportions probably are a bit different between the two characters, but you can go as close as possible. Now I'm going to save this position or this pose, and we're going to test it. First thing is I click over. Let's move the target to 100. And now I can play these animations. Excellent. The other thing is in the character, I'm going to hide the bones for a second and see how everything is working. I can stop here and see, for example, the fingers. And there, one thing I have learned while playing with these two is that sometimes the fingers they don't match the way that we want. And if they don't, well, it is just about going back. Let me go to the pose and again one over another. And then you can see directly that the fingers are not exactly on the same position. And if you feel that they are not in the same position, you just have to play with them until they are the most similar to what you want. So any recommendations will be like probably moving this a little bit to the top. So let me play with them just a little bit to make an example of it. So in the character, I need the bones, all hierarchy, and let me play with these values just a little bit. Yeah, I want to select exactly what I want. So I'm going to start with the index. And let me move it, I would say, probably 15, 25 degrees to make them as similar as possible. Good. Now let's go with the other. And probably going to move it something very similar, like 25 degrees as well. Let me see. No, it's in fact, the other doesn't have to be 25 degrees, I think. Now let's go to the next one. And moving it 25 degrees. And finally, this one and 25. Probably in this case is going to be a bit more. Excellent. As you can see, now they are more similar in this case. Let's play the same thing with the other side. I can see the index, so let me take it from here. And let's move it as well. 25 degrees, the index. You get to get used to play with the camera. Now this one as well. we said 20 for the case of the middle finger. Now this one, let's see, I think this one was a bit more, like 25, correct? Look that everyone is like independent. And this one will be, I think it was 35 in this case. Something like that, probably. So as you can see, they are closer to this, to the other hand. Let me go back to hiding the bones. And as you can see, the hands are more similar. In fact, you can close the fingers one to the other and make it even more similar. And the more you are accurate about this, the more the animation as well is going to be when we retarget. So let's go to the run retargeter, and now click out so I can move my character to one side. And here you can see the character. Let me stop it and see the hands. So the hands, as you can see here, this finger is not as perfect as what we want. And here the other fingers are too open. So it is about you playing with these values until you get exactly the best replication of what you have here, in the case that you need it, of course. So once we have this retargeted done, well, you remember that we download from Mixamo these two animations. Let me select these two animations and then saying I want to export this selected animation. And of course, the folder that we are going to use is a folder inside Paragon Twin Blast. And I think I don't have the folder yet. So let me go to the Paragon Twin Blast a second. So what I suggest to you in this case is to say for the Twin Blast that you have these animations, and I would recommend you to add another folder where you can add the animations for the Paragon Twin Blast, saying that these are retargeted animations. So here inside the animations, I will create a new folder that I'm going to call Retargeted. And now I can move these retargeted animations to that folder. So let's say export selected and Twin Blast characters, heroes, Twin Blast, animations, and retargeted. And of course, in this case, I'm going to add the RTJ. And you can also add, for example, what is the origin of this animation. If you want to be even more specific, for example, here it could be Mixamo. And now you have the full retarget that you understand where this is coming from, and then export. Now I have the two full animations. You can open them, and here they are. Now, what is more interesting now is that once you have the retargeted animation, and I can close this eye case, I can go to Mixamo, and let's say I want to add another animation. Let's say I want to add, I don't know, this kind of, I'm going to find a melee attack. Let me get here, melee. And let's say that I want to have this attack. Well, I just going to download without skin, download my animation, and now I'm going to bring the animation as well to the animations that I have on Mixamo. Let's go to the folder, here it is. And let me bring the animation that I just downloaded. I'm going to drop it here. As you know, we have a skeleton for this, which was the Y bot skeleton. Import. Here we have the animation. We can open it. Great. And now you can see that the animation was also included here, and now is related to the same character. And as you can imagine, now I can select this animation, export the animation, and do the same process of adding a new animation for the Twin Blast. It's going to be in animation, retargeted animations. and I don't remember the acronym. I think it was RTG, Mixamo, and export. There you go. And here we have the Mixamo exported animation. What you can get from this is that literally you can now select any animation from Mixamo, move it to here, and now you can retarget it immediately and use it for your own projects. And just like that, we unlock another level of animation mastery together. Remember, by subscribing to Woolen.com, you are not just joining a community, you are unlocking a treasure trove of knowledge and discounts on courses that can elevate your skills beyond boundaries. Dive into our latest course, Modeling with Unreal Engine 5, and no Maya or Blender needed, and discover the power of creating directly with Unreal Engine 5. Please take a moment to hit that like button. It helps more than you know. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay updated on all things Unreal Engine 5. We got plenty more in store for you. I'll see you later.